Hi everyone. Now, what do you think we've got here? I think it's a bit obvious. We've got HIKMICRO Condor on loan, which is the latest HIKMICRO thermal spotter with onboard LRF underneath the main window there. And well, let's, rather than have me wobble about the box, let's pass it over to Guru Bruce. We've got the brand new HIKMICRO Condor, Bruce's existing Gryphon GQ50L, and Billy's
Pulsar Axion XG35 LRF.
Brilliant. You said that without moving your lips there, Billy. How are we doing, Bruce?
Fine.
Good.
Yeah. Busy day in the man cave today, Ross.
Yeah, this is the fourth video in one I was going to say one morning, but it's now mid-afternoon. Tell us about this Condor then.
Okay, this is basically, the Condor is the updated version of the Gryphon. The big difference here is that the Condor has the new 20 millikelvin NETD sensor.
Yep.
Whereas the Gryphon has the older 35 millikelvin NETD sensor.
Right.
The other difference, obviously, you can see by looking at the front of the cat, that's the rangefinder on the Gryphon, and this is the rangefinder on the Condor. The Gryphon also had an optical camera, black and white low light camera, and had a image fusion function, which has now been dropped. Condor doesn't have the optical camera nor the fusion function, which makes it smaller, neater, and a little bit lighter. These are both the 640 sensor versions. This is the CQ50L, this is the GQ50L. They've also changed the button controls. They got rid of the scroll wheel, which I guess would have been potentially a place where moisture could get in, and they replaced that with an all rubber IP66, IP67 level control button layout. Screens are the same, batteries are the same, they're still both running on 18650s.
Okay, the battery compartments are the same.
Yeah. Now I've tested these alongside each other, but only in good thermal conditions. And if you know what you're looking at, you can see more detail. I'd say the image on the Condor is slightly sharper and crisper than it is in the Gryphon. And if you really look hard, you can see temperature details with the Condor that you can't see with the Gryphon.
Right.
It's not a huge amount. It's not something that would be immediately obvious. It's just a slight improvement in sharpness and crispness. I think you'll see the big difference when you get out in conditions which are not good for thermal, i.e. high humidity conditions. I haven't had the chance to test them in those conditions yet, but when we get a night where it's kind of muggy, I'll get them out and hopefully we'll be able to see more difference between them. Personally, I much prefer the Condor layout. I didn't really like this, and I didn't really like the optical camera and the fusion thing. I thought it was a waste of time. The Condor is really what it should have been in the first place. Yeah. And of course the Condor, like the Gryphon, comes in different lens sizes and in two different sensor layouts. So you've got the CH models, which is a 384 sensor, and the CQ models, which is a 640 sensor. And I think they've got 25, 35 and 50 millimeter lenses in each model. So that's a total of 6 models in the range, and obviously the prices reflect the sensor type and the size of the lens.
So in both the Gryphon and the Condor, you've got the top of the range models here in your hands.
These are both the top of the range. CQ50L, GQ50L. Okay, and we wanted to bring the Pulsar along just to get an idea of size and a little bit about the sort of the ergonomics, kind of how when you put it in the hand, how nice is it to be, how easy is it to use when it's in the hand. The Pulsar's always been really, really good in that respect. Small, neat. The buttons fall to hand.
As long as you're a right-hander.
As long as you're a right-hander. It's a magnesium alloy case. The Condor is almost as good. The buttons fall to hand quite easily. Yeah.
And it's good for left-handers.
And it's good for left-handers. That's true. No, it's not, because you can't put the strap on the left-hand side. Oh. Okay. The other thing they've done is the lens cap. There's now a magnet in here, and you can put the lens cap on there and it doesn't fall down, which is quite useful.
Yeah, stops it flopping about and blocking the view.
I have to say that when I actually hold it up to my eye, I don't find the rubber eye cup very comfortable. It could be made to be quite a bit softer. I found it a little bit hard, and I was having problems getting comfortable behind the eyepiece. But that's maybe just me. tried it on the Wi-Fi. In fact, I had the Gryphon and the Condor connected up on the Wi-Fi to see how much lag there was, and there's really not much difference. The amount of lag you get seems to depend more upon the device you're hooking up to rather than the scope itself.
Yeah.
Both the Gryphon and the Condor hooked up to my mobile phone were displaying a wee bit of lag. I hooked them up to a Samsung tablet and they were both pretty much lag free.
Right.
So it seems to have more to do with the device that you're displaying the picture on than the actual scope itself.
Right. Okay. Are you gonna have some footage for us at some point?
Oh, try.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try and get some footage. I'll get some footage here because there's one. When I was out here trying the other night, there's a roof line that kind of goes away from us towards the trees, and there's a line of tiles on that roof that you can pick out the difference in temperature between the tiles and the join line, which you can show clearly with the Condor, but which is very faint and fuzzy with the Gryphon.
Right. Okay.
That's the sort of level of temperature detail difference I'm speaking about. Nothing huge.
Yeah. Not earth shattering.
But there, if you know what you're looking for, so we'll try and get that on video.
Yeah.
But as I say, the real test will be when we get a night where it's not good thermal conditions.
Right. Or maybe if the HAR comes in as well, then that will be perfect.
Well, HAR, we don't really want HAR, but yeah, for this particular application, a bit of HAR wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So until we get a chance to test them out in poor thermal conditions, there's not a huge amount of difference in image quality between the two. I have to say, on both of them, the rangefinders work, and you can, on this one, you can set how long you want it to range for, up to almost an hour, which obviously is going to do the battery in. But some are a bit flaky. Some I wasn't getting it to read a range. I'd be pointing at the roof line and it would be giving me no numbers, just red lines. Try it again and it would come up with a range. It wasn't just always ranging as well as I'd hope. So one of the reasons I want to keep the HITAC is so I can see what the fucking flash looks like. Because I can't see it. I'll put the HITAC and this thing up on the plate and fire up the rangefinder. I'll look for a flash and see what it looks like. Because it's not as good as that one, and it's not as good as the HITAC. The rangefinder is a bit flaky.
Okay.
And that was the same in the Gryphon. There's no difference in terms of how well or how badly the rangefinder works. There's a couple of things in here called Image Pro and Zoom Pro that I really haven't worked out yet. Right. I need to spend a bit more time with that. And they've changed the interface. The interface has changed. The layout of the interface and the various things have changed. It's still a good spotter though.
Yeah.
Still an excellent spotter.
Excellent. And thank you very much to Ian Blackwood of Blackwood Outdoors.
Absolutely.
For the loan of this fella.
Yep.
Impartial review. Yet again. Brilliant. Well, I'll look forward to hearing from you, Bruce, when you've got the footage and from these two, and can get some comparative footage. Because Bruce knows I always want to see the footage.
And I always forget to switch it into recording mode.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Ross. Okay, folks, tonight we're doing a side-by-side test of two HIK thermal binoculars. We have the new HIK Condor thermal binocular with onboard rangefinder. And we also have its predecessor model, the Gryphon thermal binocular with onboard rangefinder. Both examples of these have 50mm lenses, and both have 12 micron 640 by 512 pixel sensors. The major difference between them is that the Condor uses the new 20 millikelvin sensor, whilst the Gryphon uses the older 35 millikelvin sensor. And tonight is a good night to test how well those sensors work. The conditions are poor. It's very overcast, it's been drizzling rain, and according to the weather station at the top of my man cave, the relative humidity is 91%, which from my experience is getting towards the upper end of what's usable. So I'm looking at the moment and recording on the Condor. I'm also recording video on the Gryphon but with no audio. And if I now go and have a wee look through the Gryphon, it's immediately obvious that the image on the Condor is significantly sharper and clearer and has more detail. The Gryphon image is very, very blurred, not much temperature detail at all. In fact, it was so blurred it was difficult to get the objective lens in focus, to know when the objective lens was in focus. Whereas with the Condor, yeah, there's a lot more temperature detail than there is with the Gryphon. Now, I've tested these two thermal imagers in good thermal conditions, and there's not much difference between them in good thermal conditions. If I were looking at this scene in good thermal conditions, and if I get a chance I'll try to record some, you would see all the details of the tiles of the roof in the distance. You would see all the tiles, all the joints between the tiles, all the temperature differences there. You can't see that tonight because of the poor conditions. However, on a good day, when there's plenty of difference between stuff, then both thermal imagers show up those temperature differences pretty well. And in low humidity conditions, there's really not much to choose between them. But in these conditions, you really do actually see the benefit of the lower NETD 20 millikelvin sensor against a 35 millikelvin sensor. Because of the way I've got this Condor mounted at the moment, then the fact that the rangefinder module is down near the bottom of the unit, I can't actually get any ranges with the thermal mounting on the plate here. I'm going to take it off the plate and do some ranges to let you see the rangefinder working. You can see it's at working at 67, 69 yards, 54 yards. The trees in the distance are about 160. And I've got it on continuous ranging mode. It'll range for about 15 seconds. You can have it ranging for a lot longer than that if you wish. You can see it's quite happily ranging those sort of distances there, 87, 89 yards. For some reason it doesn't like that bit of roof. And I think that's probably as much as we need to let you see tonight.